Hey guys, welcome to another video and thanks for tuning into this one. And in this video, I just wanted to remind us of something important as we go into a new week, and that is as we work towards, building wealth and acquiring wealth and trying to just do better, right? That's the goal point of this. I don't think anybody ever has too much money, but I also know that not having enough of it can be a problem. And as we work towards growing, becoming better, saving, investing, we have to keep some things in mind. And especially as immigrants, it's so important that we think about this. Okay, so if you're new, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for tuning in again. And let's get to it. The first thing that I will always want to encourage anybody to do if you are trying to achieve anything, right? There's always the foundational concepts that we need to have. As a baby, right? You had to crawl before you can walk, and you had to walk before you can run. Similar thing applies to us investing and building wealth and having money. Unfortunately, a lot of people want to go from crawling to running. And if you take that approach, you would realize that you stumble, and you're likely going to fall, and you're likely going to have serious injury, and then your recovery can actually be much more difficult. On the other hand, if we can put the right steps in front of us and we take those right steps, we are likely to avoid injuries, and that is us walking before we run. So let's talk about the first important aspect of things, and that is skill. The reason why having a skill is so important is because once you have a skill, it can't be taken away from you. A lot of times people report, maybe getting laid off, maybe just something going wrong with their job. And without a skill, you find yourself having nothing. And by the way, your skill can be as simple as you knowing how to drive. Your skill can be having the ability to speak multiple languages. Your skill can be knowing how to cut hair. Your skill can be knowing how to do something, right? Something that you can do well, and maybe you also enjoy doing. That's even a bonus. But having a skill is so important, and knowing how to monetize that skill is even more important. And this is where, I have this YouTube channel. Granted, it doesn't make me a lot of money, I'll be honest about that, but I also am happy to get messages from people that would say, oh, they found my video helpful, or they found information I shared helpful, and maybe give them a new idea or a new concept to work on or to learn. And that is really why I have this channel. Now, when I started this, I knew how to edit videos, but I wasn't so confident about my skill. But then I realized not a lot of people actually edit their videos and put it on YouTube. And by the way, this video is probably not going to be edited as much. That's because I'm trying to get to just work on this video and put it out there and let the ideas flow, right? That's the key thing here, letting the ideas flow. So having a skill is really the basic part of it, because without the skill of me knowing how to edit a video, for example, when, I'm talking about like in the early 2000s, that's when I started this video editing stuff. I never really came on YouTube until much later, but the point here is having that skill is what gave me the ability to come on here and maybe make a little bit of money here and there on social media. But your skill could be, maybe you know how to drive and you can do Uber, Lyft, whatever that may be. As you transition into a new environment, or as you work towards achieving a goal, it may be a side income for you, it may be a main income for you. People do these things that I'm talking about on a full-time basis. But depending on what your goals are, you need to know what skills you have that you can monetize. And I'll be brutally honest with you, you have to be aggressive with trying to monetize it if that's what you want, right? If you're looking for ways of having multiple streams of income, then you shouldn't be, discouraged in any way. Yes, there's so many people that will do it better than you, but as long as you have the desire to work on that, you would also get better. So that's the first one. The second thing is education. We have to understand that even if you have a skill, the skill sometimes can give you the ability to survive difficult times, but your qualifications, and that's where education comes in, your qualification is what gives you the ability to go for some opportunities. And this is where, as an immigrant, we often fall on the back side of things, where sometimes, and I'm talking about not the for the majority, there's always, the immigrants are very hardworking, we know that, but unfortunately, due to lack of support, we sometimes find ourselves trying to support other people, and then we put our own qualification or education in the backside of things, and we don't focus on that. And that's always a problem with immigrants in general, because if you look at it, a lot of immigrants are the ones doing the type of jobs that, even though that's not really what they desire, but they're usually doing those jobs just to survive. So the point here is, your goal, as you have that skill that you are using to survive, you have to be able to get some qualification or education in the process, because that education or qualification that you have is what will open doors for you when you go to when you seek other opportunities that will probably pay you more. So that's something to remember. Now, let's now skip forward to getting education and opportunities. Remember, before you spend a lot of money on something, make sure you know the prospects of that opportunity, of that qualification. Because what is the point of spending so much money on something and not getting the rewards for it, not getting the money for it? And that's where you need to make sure that before you go and enroll in a program, make sure you know what is on the other side. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but at least have an idea of what is waiting for you, so that you're not caught by surprise. Now, let's now talk about the jobs. So you've gotten your qualification. Now let's move on to the job and business side of things. And that's the next thing here. When it comes to having a job and a business, understand that that's not the end goal. The end goal for anybody, right, is to do something fulfilling and have the means to survive, to live a life that they want to live. That is freedom. And that's where financial freedom comes in. Now, we're doing those jobs, or we're doing the business for a reason. You decided to come here for a reason. You decided to put yourself through school for a reason. You decided to go through the hard part for a reason. It's really because you want that freedom, that financial freedom, the ability to do what you want when you want it. Now, your ability to do that comes down to, in my books, investing, okay? And the second thing is really managing what you purchase or what you spend money on, in my books. Now, some people can choose to do other things, but in my books, the best thing you can do is to invest, let your money grow, and you managing what you spend your money on. Because a lot of times, majority of immigrants will end up focusing on just wanting to live right now, forgetting about the future. And I don't want that for you. And that's where, as you get a job, from day one, start putting some money aside for the future, whether it's for retirement or whether it's for maybe a savings for maybe you want to buy a house, right? Whatever that investment is, or that that goal is, prioritize it from day one. Like they always say, if you have a business, then set up a retirement account. If you have a job, set up a retirement account so that it can contribute towards your retirement, right? Whether it's a 401k, and if it's a business, then do what you have to do. Set some money aside so that you have something for the future. And the last thing is to invest for the long term. Now, you may see me talk about a little bit of, maybe trading, but the goal really on this channel is that as an immigrant, and I think a lot of people fail to understand that when it comes to trading, the risk is so high, and sometimes we don't have the time. I mean, personally for me, having the time is always a problem. But when you invest for the long term, you generally just have to put the money into the investment and let it do its thing, and compound interest would work in your favor. I hope that this makes sense. I hope that this is something that you found valuable. And by the way, this is just the footnotes that I have on the iPad. And I think, I can go into more detail on this stuff, but I really wanted to touch on this because it's an idea that came to me and I thought to share it with you. I hope you found value in this one. I'd love to see you in the next one.